Hey everybody! So I realized that my last podcast was 3 minutes and like 26 seconds long, and that is kind of boring. That's kind of lame. It was about my COVID shot number two. I'm all good. I'm like a week and a half past it, and just listen to it. It's boring. I'm fine. Didn't die, and no symptoms, and I feel great. And I hope you all get it and get better, and it's easy peasy. All right, so let's get started. All right, everybody. So today I have to talk to you about a book. The second book, Neal Shusterman. This is Thunderhead. This is book 2 of the Scythe series that I already did the first one and I loved it. It was great. It was fantastic. This book proved to be really good as well. So I have a major complaint, but I'm going to bring that up later. I'm going to tell you everything that I liked about the book first. So it was, like I said, it was super interesting. It was exciting. It picked up, it explained a ton of stuff, introduced a new character, and really showed like what the Thunderhead was capable of, and like kind of its kind of had its creation going on, and I don't know, it was great. The main characters were developing, and I have no complaints until I'm having a lot of fun with this new camera, by the way. This is going to be on YouTube, everybody. Check it out. All right. The book. Let's turn to page 271, and then I will say this without a doubt. Neal, I hate you. Okay? Listen up, Shusterman. You are in my territory now. All right? You are in, this is, you look at me. Look at me. I am the fire inspector now. Okay? And you don't know what you're talking about in regards to a fire sprinkler system. On page 271, I don't want to spoil everything for you guys, but something major happens in a theater. Let's talk about theaters. So this would be an indoor assembly area where you would get lots of people together, and so we're going to make sure that you, as a fire department, fire inspector, have sprinklers, because you need to be protected. Okay? And because there's going to be so many people that are combining together that don't know each other, that have never maybe been here, that don't know where all the exits are and everything. Now we have to have a fire alarm system. Okay? Now, my jurisdiction, we are always going to have that fire alarm system monitored, which means if anything bad happens to it, we get notified. And are you going to tell me that the Thunderhead, this super powerful, all-powerful being thing, that it's not monitoring? It's not monitoring your fire alarm systems? Are you kidding me? This thing is the smartest smarty-farty thing on the planet, and it doesn't know when someone like cuts the pipe and puts a pipe in your... I don't want to ruin it for you guys. Okay, if you haven't read the book, and you're gonna, I highly recommend it. Just shut it off right now. All right, spoilers. All right, so on one point, these bad people are trying to introduce acid into the system, because we've learned that if you dip a body in acid, whatever, it can't be regenerated. It can't be healed. So you get permanent death. That's not good. You die forever. Okay. So these bad guys, they cut into the pipe, and then they like inject it, put a pump, and then they pipe it, and like that can't happen. Okay? That is stupid. You don't know what you're talking about, Neal, and I know you don't know what you're talking about because you said that the piping system was copper. Bullcrap. All right? Now listen, if we used copper, okay, for sprinkler pipes, yes, you have a much better coefficient as far as like the... Okay. Copper is better because the inner shell is smoother, and when you're trying to push water through you have friction loss. So yes, copper would be better for your fire sprinkler system. Okay? When you reduce the friction, it takes less pressure to get the pressure that you need at the furthest point for the sprinkler pattern to develop. Okay, now listen, I know that you all just heard wah, 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 wah. I understand that. Okay, you don't have to know everything about sprinklers. I brought up this picture for you. So if you look right here, now that orange, do you see that orange little tiny thing all the way at the bottom there? I don't know how else to show you. It's right there. That indicates that that valve is closed. You know what happens when you close a valve on a sprinkler system? We get notified. Fire department gets notified. Not exactly the fire department. It goes to a monitoring system through the fire alarm panel, and it says, hey, there is a supervisory. Someone shut off something really important here. Maybe you guys should get out here and check it out. That's step number one. Now, excuse me, you could not inject acid. Look at me. You could not inject acid into this system, okay? Like, okay, number one, how much acid is it going to take? I don't know. Okay, but let's say they have like some super strong acid. You're telling me that like this thing at the bottom here, at the bottom, comes out of the ground, right there. See that? That could pump hundreds of thousands of gallons and potentially millions. If you just like cut that thing, what? An endless supply of water is just going to come out of it, okay? We talked about copper. What you're normally going to see, do you see this? That's like black steel. That's just steel, okay? Iron, pipe. It's not copper. And you take an axe, to a copper pipe? No. Okay, number one, this character that you introduced, he probably doesn't have the upper body strength to take an axe, all right, and go through a copper pipe, let alone a steel pipe. That's not going to happen, okay? This is fake, Neil. This is wrong, and you should have done your research, and I hate you for this. No, I mean, I love the book. Don't get me wrong. But I hate you because you're in my hood. This is my territory. Sprinklers. I know about sprinklers, and I know about fire alarms. Don't take this away from me, Neil. All right? So what else is wrong with this? So number one, they would have shut off the system, and it would have notified the thunderhead. It would have notified the thunderhead. Sorry, Neil. It's hard to remember the thundercloud versus thunderhead. I'm going to call it whatever I want. All right. So the thunder thing. So it's going to notify. I showed you. All right. Let's go back to the picture. That little wire right there that comes out underneath there. Yeah, that goes to the fire alarm system. That notifies everybody that, no, you're not getting away with this. Okay. So then you're telling me that they break this. No, let's go picture in picture. I'm having a lot of fun with this new switcher. I'm not kidding. This is pretty cool. All right. So you're telling me that this system right here, that's just hypothetical. All right. So this right here is the fire department connection, FDC. That goes to the outside of the building. All right. That allows firefighters to come in. We pop onto that, and then we can pump from our fire engine into that. That increases all of the pressure in the available water that we can push out into the system. Okay. So there's acid in this system. It wouldn't happen, Neil, but hypothetical. You somehow managed to disable the fire alarm system and nobody knows. Okay, how would you do it? Maybe you put in some jumpers, you disconnect stuff. Okay. Number two, you're going to have to get like, what you said that it's like a 55-gallon drum, an unknown amount of container or whatever. Listen, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water are going to come out of there. If you put 55 gallons of acid into that, that is going to do nothing. You are going to have to pump thousands of gallons of acid into this system just to fill up the system. Remember what we said. This is an auditorium, okay? This is gargantuan. Okay, maybe there's 1,000 people, maybe not. Let's say 500. You're still going to have a gigantic fire sprinkler system that goes all throughout the building, plus all the common areas, plus. Let's go with what you got wrong, number 2 or 4 or wherever we're at, okay? Sprinkler heads. This is for everyone. When a sprinkler system goes off, not the entire system goes off, okay? When one sprinkler head has a little glass bulb in there that, let's say it heats up to above its activation temperature, let's say it gets to 200 degrees, and that frangible bulb goes and it pops. Did you hear that? All right, it pops. The little copper plate that's holding back all of that water goes away. And then that one sprinkler head develops its pattern, okay, and then puts water there. You have some jackass running around with a torch and he's saying like, oh, it's lighting off and finally it goes off and all the sprinkler systems are going to go off. No. Number one, you only have 55 gallons of fuel or of chemical, right? So that's not enough to pump through a standard system, okay? So number two, when you activate whatever sprinkler head activates, it's going to go off and it's only going to affect that one single area. I was trying to think about this. What is that movie where The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you handsome man, he plays a CIA agent with that little guy, Kevin Hart, right? Fantastic. Good movie. All right, Kevin Hart, you're great. I loved you on The Upside too with Bryan Cranston. Phenomenal acting from the both of you, okay? That's beside the point. The Rock, you're an animal. Now, you take Kevin Hart's tie and then you put it up in the sprinkler system and you're like, I got an idea, and you light it on fire, and then like whole system goes off and you start shooting everybody, and you jump out of a window, land on a gorilla. Monkey. Gorilla? Definitely a gorilla. All right. So then you do that and the whole system went off again. No. Only one sprinkler head would activate. Now, I've said this a lot. No. Let's talk about the one time that would happen. It is called a deluge system. Now, a deluge system does operate like that. It has none of those little frangible bulbs. It just has sprinklers everywhere. And all of the pipe all throughout the system is dry. Okay. Would you find that in an auditorium? Heck no. All right? No. Where are you going to find that? Anybody know? Anybody want to weigh in? All right, where you're going to find that is one in an aircraft hangar. Okay? Aircraft hangars, we're talking maybe millions, billions of dollars of these like F-16 fighter jets and everything. Like, no, you do not want the system activating on accident. You are going to ruin potentially millions of dollars of equipment, okay? So what do? You tie that in to where they're going to have two, not just like a little glass bulb that breaks. That's just one thing, okay? But you're going to have two things that are going to have to go off. So the first one is going to say, smoke detector says, hey man, there's a lot of smoke in this area. Like, that's kind of weird. All right, so then that activates like the first switch, right? Now, you're going to have cameras set up that are going to read the rate of rise temperature to say the hotter, the faster it gets, okay, it's going to be able to see, holy crap, that's a real fire. Okay, that would trigger number two, and then you would actually have the entire system go off. Now, how do we prevent that, like that little, let's say someone's welding, okay? Well, if you're welding, yeah, you could get the rate of rise detector to go off, but you don't have the smoke that's going to set off the entire system. Like I said, Neil, look at me. I know about sprinkler and fire alarm systems. I would have helped you had you have asked, but you didn't ask. All right, so I don't blame you for not asking. I'm nobody. That's not the point. The point is, what was the point? You're wrong, Neil. Okay, so this deluge system, I've only seen it twice. Aircraft hangar one time, and then there was a, out here we have the cap. It's like the, I don't know, we bring water like from California to Arizona, like in the desert. It's a big deal. We like gigantic pumps. We're pumping it into the ground, out of the ground. We're pumping it to California. We're pumping water everywhere. Maybe that's reversed. Maybe we take water from the Arizona and we actually pump it to California. I don't know. I don't care. Shut up, California. You're dying anyway. Sorry, COVID is hitting you guys hard. I just heard 75% of your restaurants are closed. That's horrendous. I apologize. All right. I hope you make it through this. Get your COVID shot, everybody, and then go eat at restaurants. It'll be great. All right. In that cap system, like in this giant warehouse with these ginormous water pumps, okay, is a deluge system, because you're probably talking about millions of dollars of pumps to move, I don't know, hundreds of millions of gallons of water per day. Maybe, I don't know, a lot of water. But Neil, guess what? Inside your assembly area here, your theater, you're gonna have a standard wet sprinkler system, buddy. Like, no, it's not copper, and everyone needs to understand this. When one sprinkler head activates, they all go off. That is wrong. Okay? When one sprinkler head activates, that's the only one that goes. Now, if the fire grows to where your next one that's 6-7 feet off, okay, when that area gets hot above, say, 200 degrees again, and that frangible bulb pops, now that head is going to go off, okay? But you just have two. You just have two going off. Let's say it's a single bedroom and there's one sprinkler head in the room. If a fire happens on that bed, it's not going to set off every sprinkler in the house. It does not work that way, Neil. Okay, now, moving on from that. All right, I love the book. The book was fantastic, man. It was great. It had like some of the little romance at the end, and like, oh, I have to save her. Oh, I'm not gonna turn you in because I love you. Blah blah blah. Little high school love story and everything. It has like, I'd say 3 stories probably going in kind of simultaneously. Like I said, they brought in a new character. Oh no, maybe 4 stories going simultaneously. Like it was really cool. Yeah, the Thunderhead, it was really cool reading about like kind of how it was created, how it kind of like copes with working with like all of humanity and getting to be the boss. So seriously, I recommend it. I just hate anything or anyone that doesn't understand a fire sprinkler system. It's only because it's wrong information, okay? Like, okay, now, how would I have done it to make it work like that, Neil? Okay, on the fire alarm system, you would have had to put jumpers, okay? How do you do that? I don't know. I'm an electrician and I don't know that, Neil, all right? So let's say you have like some electrical engineer that was on your side and was super bad. Okay, so he's going to come in, disable the fire alarm system to where, like, number one, it doesn't show a short. Good luck with that, Neil. All right, like these things are designed not to fail like this, okay, or be defeated. Okay, so hypothetical, you disable the alarm system, and then number two, you would have had to have shut the alarm system off, gone through and snapped every single sprinkler head, like all throughout the building, okay? No, that's like, hey buddy, what are you doing up there? Like, oh, no big deal, I'm just snapping this, and then there's gonna be a lot of water that comes out of here, and it's super gross and smelly. And by the way, the water inside of a sprinkler system does not smell good. Is pretty gnarly, okay? Just, all right. Okay, so then you go through and, like I said, open up every single sprinkler system, like every single head, and then you would have to have thousands and thousands of gallons of water. And let's talk about this too. When we design a sprinkler system, it's for the most remote area. We call it like a hydraulic calculated area. It's the most demanding area in the entire system. Okay. And we design that to like 9, 10, 12, 14 heads, whatever we need to, depending on like the size of the actual unit. Okay. So looking at that, to calculate every one of those to go off to put out the fire that's happening, and then like you calculate the pressure all the way back, blah blah blah, super nerd stuff. Okay. Become a fire protection engineer, kids. It actually pays really well. All right. So in order to do that, to set off every single sprinkler head in that occupancy, like in that theater, you are going to need so much pressure. Okay. How are you going to smuggle in this ginormous pump, this ginormous tank, and have the acid level at the point like that it would be able to burn you? How are you going to do that, Neil? Because I don't know how you're going to do that, Neil. Schusterman, that's a pretty cool name too. I don't know. What do you guys think? We're going to go back. Like I said, I still highly recommend the book. It's great. I think everybody should read it. All right. I don't know. I think that's it. Goodbye, everybody.